Hey everybody, this is Dylan. I wanted to tell you about the farm training I attended last week by the urban farmer Curtis Stone. But first I'll give you a little background. So for the last 10 years, I've been a solar contractor. I have a company where we design and install residential solar, commercial buildings, parking lots, you name it. And the reason, one of the many reasons I've been so enthusiastic about solar is because of its potential ability to decentralize our power system. If we had many communities in a metropolitan area that were producing their own power, and they were all kind of microgrids tied together, any one failure in that system would have very little effect on the system on the whole. And all of the other systems around it could pick up the slack during any kind of temporary downtime. Well, right now we have a very centralized system where we've got large-scale power plants that are producing all the power, and any failure to those could be kind of catastrophic. So more points of failure means a more resilient system. And I apply that same method of thinking to our food system. They say here in Arizona, if we just closed off our borders in just the state of Arizona, we would have about a 4-day supply of food before everybody starts to feel pretty hungry. That is not a very safe and resilient system, in my opinion. We're currently relying on many out-of-state or out-of-country farms to provide us with our food here in Arizona. And I think that a much better system would be one where we have many microgrids, just like with power. We've got many small-scale urban or almost urban farms that are a little bit rural, whatever, all tied together that are providing us with safe, affordable, healthy food. And any one failure to one farm, that slack could be picked up by the other farms, and we wouldn't be very reliant on any one piece of the puzzle in case it were to fail. So you can see now that a microgrid of urban farms would be a really safe system. It also connects us with our food system, which I think is really important. We don't understand where our food comes from. We don't understand the process by which it's produced, harvested, brought to our door. We just don't understand our food system. And I think that one of the potential positive outcomes of having these urban farms is that we will be reconnected with our food shed. We understand where our food's coming from. We know the people that are producing it, and we start to really remember that the food is really the most important thing to our bodies and our well-being. So for those of you that may not know, I am building a small-scale urban farm on a 2/3 acre residential lot 3 doors down from my house in Phoenix. And it's been a slow process because I've been doing it as a side job, but I'm hoping to get some food in the ground this year. Right now we're actually building a solar system on the farm, which is really exciting. So I'll have some future videos about that. So I've been following Curtis Stone on YouTube for at least a year or more. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. He's got an awesome channel where he has taken his residential home, his lot where he lives, and he's taken the front yard and the backyard and turned it into an urban farm. And he even spread to take the backyard of one of his neighbors and farm food there. And he's selling to farmers markets, to chefs, any number of different places. So he puts on a training in addition to all of his awesome YouTube videos. He also has a book. And I went to his 5-day training last week, which just happened to be at a farm here in the Phoenix area about an hour from my house in Queen Creek, Arizona, called Steadfast Farm. They're not an urban farm, but they're just right on the outskirts of town. I mean, they are in a suburban community, so it's kind of the same idea really as my farm. And they sell to chefs, to a CSA program, at farmers markets, etc. The training was Monday through Friday last week, and what Curtis did is he starts every morning with sort of more of a classroom setting where he's doing a slideshow presentation and covering some big picture topics, which was great. And then for the rest of the day, for the majority of each day, we're sending it out on a profitable production farm that is implementing all of the practices that Curtis outlines in his videos, in his book. They're doing it, and they're doing it really, really well. And that is incredibly valuable for a group of people like us that attended the training. There were about 30 of us, which is the perfect number of people. That's valuable to us because we're all in a stage where we're ready to go. We're ready to start planting food and selling food. And so we were able to go out, use every one of the tools. We harvested greens, we washed greens, dried greens, and spun them. We bagged them. We prepared the beds for more transplants. We transplanted from the nursery into the ground using the paper pot transplanter. We seeded, we did some direct seeding. I said we prepared the beds. We mulched some of the old like cauliflower roughage, all the greens and stuff that are left over, and tarped. We went through every single part of a production week on a profitable urban farm, and it was so cool. I've been to some other trainings in the past where the hands-on part is just a little like backyard garden size system, kind of like my backyard aquaponics system was, or something small that isn't actually used to sell and make money. And there's a very big difference between the two. And so when you can go out to a real production farm and do it, work on the farm for a week, that is truly invaluable. So one reason I really felt good about it is because it reinforced a lot of the design that I'm working on my farm. I'm still in the design stage where I'm laying everything out. I'm figuring out when I harvest out of the beds, where am I going to go to do the rinsing and the spinning, and what is that actual workflow going to look like? So I was able to see Steadfast Farm, how they're doing it, and now I know exactly whether or not I need to change something in the design that I've been working on. So that was really, really awesome for me. Also, on the last day, we have a little bit more. We're done kind of the specific formal training, and Curtis allows for some time to actually consult with all of the people that are at the training. So in my case, I was able to open my computer, show Curtis my design, ask him some questions about, say, irrigation, what's the best way to lay out my sprinklers for my irrigation or whatever it is, and he was able to give me feedback. So that's included in the training as well, which is really great. So I highly recommend this training for anyone that is looking to actually grow food, even if it's just a small plot in your backyard, but large enough to maybe take food to farmer's market and sell. He went through branding, marketing, he went through, every part of this operation. It really is possible to be one person doing all of these things profitably, and that's really awesome, especially because I'm going to be doing it that way, at least to start. So one thing I really liked about Curtis's style is that he's extremely open source. One reason I love YouTube and making videos is because I want to open source all of the knowledge that I've gained and all of my little hobbies and techniques and practices that I've made videos about in the past and will continue to do in the future. Curtis has the same mentality. You could tell immediately from his videos that he gives away so much free information, and he knows that the more information you give away, the more people are going to find you credible, and they're going to come to you for things like very specific training or consulting that you can't just make a custom video for every single situation. So Curtis shares that mentality, which I find really refreshing, because I feel like kind of the older generation, no offense to anyone, has been to shield and guard your family secrets in case so that nobody takes those secrets and then makes money off of them. But really, I'm more of the style that as many people having this knowledge as possible, the better. I'm not going to be competing with other urban farms around the valley because the market is huge. There's just no way. I would rather all of us, maybe we're 50 urban farms or whatever it is, all have the skills and the knowledge to be successful, because the market is massive. We can aggregate all our food together and we can sell to anyone in the area. There are any number of ways to do this, but at the end of the day, an open source approach I find to be the best. Obviously, we have a lot of energy going into these local movements in our urban areas. Phoenix is no exception. We have a very strong pro-local community. And what that means is people are seeking relationships within the systems that they rely on. For example, they want to get to know the farmers that are selling them food. They don't necessarily care about something being certified organic, as long as they know that all of the practices that go into producing that food are at least equal to or better than the organic certification, which is exactly how it'll be on my farm. I don't have very much motivation to go through this bureaucratic organic certification system, especially when I know that a lot of farms out there that are certified organic aren't following the rules when the certifier isn't in the room. And so what is more important is Being able to get to know the practices that your farmer is using, thanks to these kinds of open sourced approaches that I'm explaining, and building relationships, understanding how your food is produced, and that seems to be what everybody is starting to want. And that is exactly what I want to give, so I'm really excited about it. So for me, the urban farming is just another step toward a more decentralized system, a more resilient food system, one where if we closed off Arizona's borders, we could actually support ourselves indefinitely on the food that we're growing here in our state. Doing it efficiently, especially with respect to water, because I live in a desert, doing it clean and safely, chemical-free. These are the things that are most important to me, and these are the things that we covered at Curtis Stone's urban farming training course last week. So I highly recommend it to anybody who's at this stage or who just wants to understand more about the small-scale production of their food. So check it out. I'll put a link in the description like I said. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Please do like the video. It helps me a lot. Subscribe to my channel. It's very motivating, encourages me to keep making more videos about these topics. I will keep posting some updates as we continue to work on the farm again and everything else that I'm doing. So please stay tuned for that. I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.